Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Repping Princeton today. By the way, Bach is hot right now. A few months ago, well, several months ago, I went, almost a year, I went and visited Princeton and saw Edgar. So watch my videos on that, because that also addresses a lot of FAQs that come up. You get to see where they're made, Edgar live, also other stuff that's coming. You get to see the chassis being built. A lot of things that people ask about. Make sure you look at that video that I have. I have a whole playlist on Bach stuff. But actually, that's not the purpose of the video today. The purpose of the video today is to release a video that I thought had got released during Montreal Audio Fest. And I apologize, Thomas, with Thomas in Stereo, led me into his room when his amp was playing. And I thought I had uploaded this video. But actually, I had gone into his room before when his amp wasn't playing. But I had the title of being in that room. So I forgot I had two videos in essence. So I didn't upload this video. So I wanted to share this video with you, and you can fast forward if you want straight to the chapter I put in here, and you can watch that video just like I normally do every video, which is just basically quasi-streaming live. I just go in, upload. A lot of drawbacks though. Things like this can happen where I forget. I get interrupted as I come out of room. Now I'm a little more known. Sometimes I get interrupted, but don't ever stop interrupting me. I always prioritize that over uploading videos. But mistakes happen, as well as copyright. No good for me. When I go into these rooms and they're playing music, I get no money from these things, but I'm willing to make that investment for the show coverage. And really what this does indirectly is allows me in this particular video to share a little bit more of my thoughts going in there. And I think this room does deserve a little more feedback. But if you want to go straight ahead, jump to the chapter I have for it. But one thing I wanted to share, number one, is Thomas has a good YouTube channel, but this is a product that is high quality. You shouldn't have a bias because it's done by a YouTuber. I'm sure he's using qualified people to build it. It's not him himself doing it. But on several metrics, I found it to be a high quality product. Again, the 20 watts Class A, I've shown with the Musical Fidelity integrated amp. That's plenty enough for a lot of speakers. And for that speaker, he's playing ratchet really loud on those Perlistens. Sounded excellent. And in fact, good little segue into, or tangent on Perlisten. There's a lot of times when I've heard Perlisten at a show and it doesn't wow me. Now, what does wow me is the engineering prowess about it. It gets very good measurements. And sometimes the best measuring speakers in these hotel rooms and whatnot don't always shine the most, because it helps, it reveals either poor electronics associated with it, and you're going to get the room impacting its results sometimes even more so than a poor speaker or a speaker designed to be in the corners or whatnot. And it's very similar to horns. If you hear avant-gardes at a show, you're only hearing a fraction of what they're capable of. Similar to the Vivas I just featured in Manhattan. At Capitol Audio Fest, I heard them, the Nuda version, naked in that room. I probably wouldn't have one way or the other. It was good, but nothing great. And I certainly wasn't remembering that. The delta between the Vivas at Capitol Audio Fest and then that home in Manhattan is probably the biggest delta of improvement from my perception of what I heard than any other speaker in history, one right after the other. So you have to be a more sophisticated audiophile. That's one macro point here of what you hear. Even if it's a well-designed speaker at these shows, you may not be hearing it at its full potential for a variety of reasons, the associated gear, room, etc. And so, at least on the metrics of, I've been hearing Perlisten a lot at shows, not so much wowed by it, but with Thomas's amp, it actually sounded as good or better than any time I've heard the Perlistens. Now again, treatments in the room that he's spent time on, all of it takes a village to get that result that I heard. But that's a definite quality amp that you should look at. Now, people are inevitably going to ask me, Musical Fidelity versus that. Obviously, the Musical Fidelity is cheaper, and I think on performance metrics could be just as good, and certainly a sweet sound that many people may prefer. But on the flip side, it's an integrated, and a lot of people use DAC preamp all together. There's no need to, again, use another volume control in an integrated. And so it's better to have a standalone amp like Thomas has, a 20 watt Class A amp. You get that Class A sound, a lot of the same advantages, but now you can go straight into it with your DAC and the preamp in your DAC and not have to go through another preamp stage with the Music Fidelity. Now the Music Fidelity does have a gain tap that you can change, but it's still going to have that same volume control and circuitry that you can't totally take out. But easily, those are two 20-watt amps that I would definitely recommend. I think can drive a large percentage of speakers in a small room just fine. So thumbs up to Thomas on that piece. But another thing I wanted to go on a tangent about, again, if you want to go hear the room, just jump in the chapter. But I think it's important, this is a good time to talk about YouTube in general. And people like Thomas are quality people. Now, I got to admit, I don't watch all of his videos. And I might not agree with him on reviews, but that's going to be natural anyway. But what I appreciate about Thomas is that he seems to be a genuine person and has built his channel the right way. He's not constantly hustling for likes, subscribes. And this was something that came up in a few shows, young YouTubers, and there's plenty of them nowadays. And a lot of them, sometimes they'll ask me advice, but I'm not even that big. But I do have a company that does social media marketing. And one thing I see, whether it's the big channels, small channels, or whatever, there is a difference that you can discern in YouTube that I think is very valuable for you guys. And what I like about the way Thomas does it is when you don't hustle for likes, subscribes, and to be almost like a panhandler at a stoplight for those kind of things, you are actually building your channel more organically. You're valuing your reputation versus chasing cheap metrics and vanity metrics. And when I tell people, in my normal business, sometimes a small doctor's office will hire me and they're worried about likes, subscribes, and all that stuff. Really, with a small doctor's office, all you're targeting is people in your area that can actually go see you. Who cares if somebody in Russia views your video? And the same thing needs to be said in YouTube. I had a channel that had to do with Teslas. That was my first YouTube channel. I could have done videos where I race other cars at a stoplight and got 1,000 kids watching that video and sharing it and all that. Or I could create content that was meaningful of feedback on the Tesla and Elon Musk could watch it. And I could be thought of as a credible reviewer for a Tesla. So that's the kind of different channels that people have. They have different philosophies. And I'm not saying one is wrong or better than the other. It's just a case of I appreciate the way Thomas does his channel and how he's grown. And when people ask my advice, I say don't chase the vanity metrics. Don't panhandle for stuff, because YouTube, if you really study YouTube and Google, who owns them, they actually turn you into slaves by paying you nothing for your work, but then paying you in validation. They're very smart at what they publicly show. They publicly show subscribers, likes, and things that will trigger your vanity metrics, will trigger you for validation and get you to work for free, but just chasing those things and not, kind of Jedi mind trick you into not looking at how much they pay you. I have a YouTube short I was just looking at the other day. Well, one of them I think is over 100,000 views, but one that was 17,000 views. I made 81 cents from it. I mean, it's a joke. They get so much more money and for your efforts that they're kind of like the queen bee or the queen ant, making all these workers do all this stuff for nothing. Chasing these vanity metrics is just their Jedi mind trick to get you to work for free, and they're going to show ads on no matter what quality of content. What you want to do is make sure you don't do those things and hurt your reputation. Don't look desperate. Don't look like a panhandler. And build your channel and build your reputation. That's when you're using YouTube for your benefit. You're building your reputation and you become an influencer to other influencers. In fact, other influencers copy you and people in the industry ask you, and you become a needle mover in the hobby. And that's the kind of person I think that Thomas is. When I talked to another person, actual manufacturer in Southwest Audio Fest in the elevator, he's like, oh yeah, we used this guy who had 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we did an affiliate marketing with them, and we got nothing. We got almost no sales from it. I'm like, that's the difference. There are some that go for views and the metrics and the money from YouTube, but they really don't move the needle. And there's some people that build their reputation, can move the needle because they've built it on certain metrics that are based on their reputation. And that's what I like about Thomas and a lot of the other ones that I've met, especially in the Canada realm. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Thomas on both his product and the way he conducts his channel. Again, I can't say I agree with everything or seen everything, so maybe I'm totally off base, but my intuition's pretty good with Thomas. So thumbs up to him. Enjoy his room. Sorry I didn't upload it sooner. All right, I ran into Thomas. and he's gonna hook up. The first time we were here, we were listening to the Java. Actually, now it's hooked up, huh?
Now we're gonna play the
Eva Cassidy.
All right. So I'm gonna play a bass heavy track for Jason.
Okay,
Because
thank
I
you.
wanted him to guess how many watts that amp is. So it's gonna be a bit loud, okay, guys? Forgive me. Whoops. Fine. 1 second. Okay, we're good. We're good. 120 watts. Man, you're psych. That amplifier. 75.
25.
Don't you love it when I'm on it? 20 watts. 20 watts on? Oh, that's true. The 75 is that one over there. I got you there.
There's Class A watts too.
Class A watts.
Let me take a closer look.
So that's why the voice is better with Class A, right?
Definitely runs a lot cooler than the British Musical Fidelity A1. Same wattage. Now, of course, the A1 is a integrated. It's a really nice looking chassis.
Yes.
Yeah, good ventilation. And this is not just silk screened on, this is actual, you can tell.
With every step you take, every move you make, every vow you break, every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you.
Excusez, parce qu'on a un changement de...
It's a packed house. The theme of this show is hearing a bunch of covers, and they're all good.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you. Yeah, great job.